I'm Lloyd Hamilton. This is about our Deep Energy Retrofit project. A Deep Energy Retrofit is taking and applying significant amounts of insulation to the outside of the building, putting new windows, siding, and possibly a roof on. What we're doing is fully insulating the building and air sealing the building from the outside rather than from the inside, so that we are able to dramatically improve the performance of the building while allowing the occupants to stay. The project team consists of myself as project leader, Todd Pascarella as the energy auditor, Brian Mulder and his crew as the actual people doing the work, and Joe Stabrick as our advisor. The people who worked on the house were the employees of Mulder Construction. Brian Mulder, the owner of it, was one of the team members, and we didn't want to pre-select the people. We wanted just regular carpenters and so forth who had not had experience doing the work, because we needed to test it. We needed to make sure that this is work that people that weren't highly trained in some esoteric thing, but rather just regular contractors could be trained to how to do this, because really it's just an extension of the type of work they're already doing. We're adding to it the complexity of the system, and we wanted to make sure that regular carpenters could apply the system approach. It was very important to do that. It's been estimated that houses use about 40% of the total energy consumption in the country, and with the Deep Energy Retrofit, you're able to reduce the energy by 70%. In other words, you only have 30% of the energy that you used to have. So it tremendously changes how the carbon footprint of the house is. Just as importantly, is that it's more durable. So you don't have to paint as often, you're not going to be making repairs. And that durability combined with the dramatic reduction in energy really brings you toward a sustainable future. Several things surprised me in terms of the Deep Energy Retrofit. One of them was how quiet the house became. It really, you felt the separation from the outside. Another was when the wind blows, I feel nothing. You can't tell what the weather is doing outside. The weather really is excluded, and that's the purpose of us having the building to start with. So what it does is it makes the building able to separate you from the outside. So things like the insects coming in, the wind, pollen, all sorts of things that degrade the comfort and the indoor air quality. And that's the big thing for me, was how much better the house performed, how much more comfortable it was, how much better the air was. This project is a research and development project that was financed by NYSERDA, the purpose of which is to develop techniques and processes by which Deep Energy Retrofit can be taken on by other contractors, and that homeowners would have a sense that they can work, so that we prove the theory. Once we had completed the Deep Energy Retrofit of this house, I was able to fulfill a dream of mine, which was to heat and cool with geothermal. Previously, the loads were just so high it was not economically feasible to do that. But now that we had a highly functioning house with much lower loads, it became economically feasible to install the equipment. We selected a water furnace Series 7 because it's the most efficient heat pump made today of any type. And in fact, it was so efficient that we gave up doing radiant, which I had thought of doing because we've got a couple of concrete floors. But the significantly improved efficiency of the water furnace 7 series made it so that it was silly to do the radiant. And because the house is so efficient, we really don't need the radiant floor to make comfort. It's already comfortable. Well, we learned a lot with doing this house. We learned that we really needed to do it in a systematic way, and the most difficult point is the basement to wall interface and the wall to attic interface, and we're doing a better job with it now because we're knowing that we've got to pay attention to that from the beginning. Also, we're taking and changing how we're doing the window rough opening and going away from using sheet flashing goods to using a liquid applied barrier. I've been a heating, ventilation, air conditioning contractor for decades, and through that I learned that the building need is critical. That you can't just stay in the basement and say, oh well, I got to throw this together and it all works, because people want comfort. That one of the things that happened to me over time was that, say there was a bonus room over a garage, it's very difficult to heat, and people weren't comfortable or they didn't like the amount of cost it was to heating. And the first geothermal system I did, the homeowner's only complaint was that it cost way too much to operate. The reason it costed too much to operate was because the building didn't work right. I became involved in building science and building performance so that I could better respond to my homeowners' needs in providing them with the comfort and indoor air quality that they really wanted. The Deep Energy Retrofit is an extension of what I've learned from doing new construction. With new construction, it's pretty easy really to make a high-performance house. More difficult with existing, and unless you're willing to go and do the whole thing, it's very difficult to get the results. Matter of fact, the results of doing the Deep Energy Retrofit I've found are much more effective than the results of doing a gut rehab where you rip everything on the inside out. The Verde team we chose difficult houses. We chose houses that really needed work because we wanted to show that you didn't have to just use a ranch or something like this. We wanted to take on a challenge so that we knew that when we got done that we would be able to do any type of house. So by choosing poor performing old houses, we also show that it's really easy to make them into a modern high performance home while still keeping the character of the house.